Okay. I got idea what I'm going to say.
Would everybody want to gather underneath the tent? I'm going to move up a little bit, please. You can sit down in the chairs that are available.
Oh, God.
Good morning and welcome. It's nice to see you all. Thank you for joining us on this special day. And thank you to Ganjokwa for the music that we've been enjoying this morning. My name is C Seneca. I'm the Marketing Communications Manager of Native Pride Travel Plaza. Today is an important day in Native Pride's history. We are celebrating 25 years in business at this location, which is soon to be known as TallChief territory. We are also honoring our nation's history as we recognize Unity Day, a day which since 1992 has served as a reminder for all Seneca people to be united and work together to protect the sovereignty, economy, and community of our nation. We have asked you here today to witness the ribbon cutting and renaming of Native Pride Diner to the newly renovated TallChief Diner, followed by cake and refreshments and entertainment by Ganjokwa. In the farmers market tent in the parking lot, we want to start today's celebration by asking for blessings on this day, and all of us gathered. I would like to invite Blaine TallChief to the podium to lead us in prayer. Please, no use of cameras, flash photography, or any recording devices during this invocation. Owner and CEO of VSP Graphic Group. We also want to acknowledge the work of two people who have been working hard to design graphics, produce videos, and audio for the upcoming TallChief Territory Marketing Campaign, Mark Odian and John Stellan. We also want to recognize W. Bartu Incorporated, whose crew worked day after day on the newly renovated TallChief Diner. We also would like to welcome the following political dignitaries. SNI Tribal Councilor John Williams, Jr., Erie County Clerk Mickey Kearns, New York State Senator from the 63rd District, Tim Kennedy. And New York State Senator from the 57th District, George Borrello. Erie County Executive Mark Polenkars wanted to join us this morning, but COVID-19 had other ideas. However, he did graciously issue a proclamation honoring JC that I will read now. Whereas Unity Day was enacted by the Seneca Nation of Indians Council in 1992 to serve as a day of remembrance after the events of that year when the Seneca people won a long-fought battle against New York State on taxation issues, and the day is meant to serve as a reminder that the Seneca people need to be united and work together to protect their sovereignty, economy, and community. And whereas Unity Day serves as a reminder to the Seneca people they need to be united and work together to protect their sovereignty, economy, and community. And whereas Unity Day was introduced by J.C. Seneca, a member of the Seneca Nation and owner of the successful Native Pride Travel Plaza, after stepping forward repeatedly in negotiations during contentious tasks as public servant in his role as an elected representative to the Seneca Nation Tribal Council and elected treasurer of the Seneca Nation. And whereas Seneca's civic leadership is further reflected in the creation of that J.C. Seneca Foundation, a nonprofit corporation with a mission to advance healthy living in body, mind, and spirit for the people of the Seneca Nation and surrounding communities. And now, therefore, it is my honor to recognize the 25th anniversary of Native Pride on the occasion of their Unity Day, and wish them for continued unity as they work to protect their sovereignty, economy, and community for years to come. Now, I would like to invite Erie County Clerk Mickey Kearns to the podium.
I am not Mark Polenkars. I'm not feeling it. But thank you, JC, and it's a great day, and what an honor to be here, especially among dignitaries and among people who are so proud of their heritage, and they should be. So for me, I am just so happy on behalf of the clerk's office and on the county of Erie to also have something and to recognize Unity Day. And sometimes when you have unity, before you have unity, you have to fight. And Tim Kennedy, I know he's one of the fighting Irish, I'm a fighting Irish. And sometimes fighting for things is good, because unity doesn't come easy. And sometimes you have to fight for those things. So I'm glad, and I am very supportive of what you're trying to do here, and how you should be getting your fair share from New York State. And I will be supportive in any capacity, in any way, especially as the clerk or any capacity as an elected official. So once again, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to receive this. And that CBD JC is working. Had some sore hands and it got me taken care of. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now I would like to invite the Honorable George Ambarello, New York State Senator of the 57th District, to the podium.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for the introduction. And first of all, it's an honor for me to be here to celebrate Unity Day, and also to celebrate not only a great philanthropist, but a fantastic businessman who has helped to elevate this region. Not only am I New York State Senator for this district, but also I'm a fellow business owner here in this region, in this area. And we have worked together, my wife Kelly and I, for those of you that don't know, own and operate Sunset Bay Beach Club, Cabana Sands, at Sunset Bay Beach. We've worked with JC in the past to raise money for worthy charities. We appreciate the partnership. My family has had a long tradition of being involved and supportive with the nation, and I look to continue that not only as a fellow business owner in this area, but also as your representative in the State Senate. I would truly like to thank the other elected officials that are here, my partner Tim Kennedy in the Senate, who as chairman of the Transportation Committee has also fought hard. And there can be victories. We saw a victory recently in the reconstruction of the thruway across the Seneca Nation territory, and I'm very proud that we all stood together to make that happen. And JC, on behalf of everyone in the Senate and myself specifically, I'd like to present you with this proclamation. Congratulations today. Thank you for all that you do, and I look forward to working with you as you continue to elevate this region. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. And now I would like to invite the Honorable Timothy M. Kennedy, New York State Senator of the 63rd District, to the podium.
Thank you very much. Good morning to each and every one of you. What a beautiful day we have here on this very special and auspicious occasion as we celebrate so many different moments in history, all encapsulated into one beautiful celebration. I want to recognize our Erie County Clerk, Mickey Kearns, and my neighbor, mind you, I beat you here, by the way, by about 20 minutes, and Senator George Borrello, who is a great champion for our community here in Western New York, down in Albany in the legislature, not only part of the Transportation Committee that I chair, but also works closely with us as I'm the chairman of the Subcommittee on Native American Affairs, which, by the way, would not exist without our friend and our leader, C Seneca, and his advocacy over many, many years. Our friendship goes back well over a decade, probably about 15 years or so since we met through my work in government when I was a member of the Erie County Legislature. I just want to recognize JC's wife, Nikki, who is not only an incredible woman and a friend, but also, aside from her business acumen and working with JC, works very closely in the community, helping other people through the nonprofit It Takes a Tribe. So thank you for your work as well, Nikki. And of course, your beautiful family that has joined us here as well, to the entire Seneca family. So I mentioned a few different occasions, if you think about it, while we celebrate Unity Day. And I know Erica misspoke and said it was 1922. I think JC started checking his pulse. I don't think he was around back in 1922, but 1992, he was leading the charge then as he is today. But we also talk about the history of this wonderful institution, Native Pride, that started as a mobile trailer and has turned into this incredible business that continues to expand. Whether you're talking about the convenience store, the tobacco store, the gas station, the diner, and so many other attributes that this business 24/7 serves our community, in and of itself is an incredible job and an incredible accomplishment. But then you talk about the history of how we got here and how we all end up here today, but JC in particular. And you know, especially these days when we look around and we think about how COVID-19 has ravaged the entire globe, it forces us all to look inward. And oftentimes we're all not thinking about how we got here. But this today is how we got here. And JC is always cognizant of his history, and I try to be cognizant of mine by emulating him in the way he thinks. And TallChief in the 1700s, who was the proprietor of this land, who cared for this land, and through many generations, JC's great-great-great-grandfather has passed this down through generations. And while he may not be here physically, certainly he is here in spirit, and certainly he is proud, as so many other of your ancestors are, JC, of your work and the legacy that you are leaving the next generation of Senecas in our community, and Western New Yorkers, and New York State residents, and Americans. And as a friend of ours, as a leader, as a businessman, as a United States veteran, and as someone who continues to set the bar for our entire state to follow, we commend you once again. And JC, it's an honor to be here in your presence. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Senator. And now we'd like to invite Dave Sparrow, CFO of Native Pride, to the podium to say a few words.
I'm not as tall as our illustrious senator, I guess. Good morning, and thank you to all of you for having taken the time out of your schedules and address the risks that we all must address today in coming together and joining us at this event. About 4 years ago, I joined JC's team to bring some financial expertise in guiding his business ventures into the future. After some evaluation, our focus on that future emerged. Concentrate on the core businesses that drove him and the vision that he had. As a part of that team, my role's taken on many tasks, but the model followed by that team has been consistent. Identify an objective, communicate honestly about it, the process that it will take, commit to it, and then follow through. That model has been the framework, and these past few years have witnessed the resultant significant increase in our transition and growth of the core businesses. Today's Travel Plaza has expanded services and products to all of our clientele, local residents, and the over-the-road trucker community. Those truckers are an economic engine, bringing financial resources here from all over the country fueling our business to provide the services that we offer. That list includes, and I'm going to be repetitive here, but it includes an amply supplied convenience store, complete with healthy food choices, CBD products for our personal needs, a diner, currently under major renovation, offering quality food in a casual setting, a Weekly's Farmer Market right behind us here, and summertime entertainment in the form of the bike night that's held on a monthly basis. Not to mention the large array of gasoline pumps that we offer for easy in and easy out and competitively pricing. But today is more about the past and the future rather than the present. TallChief Territory's designation is JC's acknowledgement to his roots and the values that have formed him. In a few minutes, JC will recount some of his ancestry as he explains the TallChief Territory origins. That narrative is his recognition to the foundation of who he is and an insight into what drives him. And that drive still has more miles to go. Future business expansions are already in the works. Increased product lines, services, and expansions to our facilities. Some sooner, like the diner, and others still farther out. These changes will provide a more complete shopping experience for our clientele and increased employment opportunities to our local residents. Now I'm going to turn the podium back over to Erica so that she can introduce our next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Now I would like to invite Dean Seneca, CEO and founder of Seneca Scientific Solutions, to the podium.
Yeah, I like that name. All right, so it's funny, I do talking engagements all the time for hundreds of people and I never get nervous. Now I'm in front of the family and I'm starting to seize up. So anyways, I wanted to say that TallChief Territory, this is a great idea. Merging culture, heritage, family, and business for the betterment of the Seneca people and the surrounding community. I'm so proud to be part of this team of dynamic professionals who really care about people. And I'm especially proud of JC. Because let me tell you, everything he does, he's thinking about the betterment of the community. I mean, everything. And he faces adversity, and people are throwing stuff at him and doing this and doing that, and he rises above everybody and says, this is what we got to do, and this is what the contributions we need to make for a better community, and he does it, and he stays on that path. I'm very proud of him. This team is just awesome. I'm very proud of the organization and the partnerships that we are creating, and they're all geared toward health and wellness. Better health mentally, physically, and spiritually. And many of the issues that we want to address, and again led by JC, are the issues of intergenerational trauma and things that have impacted the Native community for generations and things that we have to heal from. And JC is continuing to lead this effort. And there's another thing that we talk about often and we're making slow steps to, and that is to build a center for urban Indian health in the city of Buffalo for all Native people. And I think that this would be a great thing because we all need better health services. And I just want to end with that JC and Native Pride. It's a great organization, very fair. And if you're interested, I would invite you to join our team. Nyawe.
Thank you, Dean. And now I would like to invite Brandon LeBeau, COO of Native Pride, to the podium.
Sorry, I got this. Everybody's comfortable, right? I got about 20 pages here. Sorry. So welcome to TallChief Territory, home of Native Pride. Here at Native Pride, we look forward to helping our customers and our community and striving to provide them with friendly service, quality products, and competitive prices. During this pandemic, we also took a number of steps to be safer. We provided gloves and hand sanitizer to all those who entered our store. We searched and found masks at a reasonable price, and despite the increased cost, as everybody knows, when demand goes up, so does cost. We found a supply, and we provided those to our customers, and at a reasonable price. We also reached out to our first responders in the community and professional truck drivers by collaborating with Azalea's Juicery and providing both groups with their immune booster juice free of charge, helping them to stay healthy and safe. When we heard the frontline workers were having difficulty time acquiring personal protective gear, we provided them with masks and gloves. For our seniors on Cattaraugus territory, we provided them with daily meals so that they could remain at home and not to worry about having to venture out and get something to eat. All these things we have done and do because we care for our customers and our community. When it comes to our professional truck drivers, we are designated as a safe haven for trucks during inclement weather. I think the 1 year, 98 storm or 95 storm, we had about 150 trucks packed in here. We serve them as we grow, and we look forward to adding more square footage along with additional showers and other conveniences to accommodate these truck drivers and all travelers from our community and beyond. I'm proud to note that we also maintain a scheduled cleaning for our fuel pumps and our drains, and to help maintain the environment for now and for years to come. Today marks another step forward as we open up our newly remodeled TallChief Diner. We are finishing up phase 1 that includes the remodel. It looks great if you haven't seen it yet. The new dining area, new seating and booths, fresh paint, new flooring, and some historic wall art throughout the space, which features JC's family. Halfway through. In phase 2 of the diner, we're excited about completing the new takeout kitchen that will be ready to please your taste buds with some well-made food along with a brick pizza oven. In phase 3, we'll look to completely gut and remodel our main kitchen, and we'll look to offer new additional services that will expand to include a new menu and get back into catering, which we haven't done for a while here. As the diner expansion is completed, we have plans for additional floor space in the overall building, which means more products for our customers. It means we will need to hire some more people, so we are looking to expand our team. We're particularly proud of our exciting TallChief brand of CBD products. We have sourced only top quality ingredients for our line and have worked to develop with a knowledgeable staff that are there to assist with the customers and can answer any questions that you have. Our cigar humidor is filled to the brim with thousands of name brand cigars. And I'm sorry, if you can't find a cigar in there that you like, maybe you should try some CBD. And, sorry, last page. I want to thank C Seneca for the opportunity to say a few words today and to be a part of this phenomenal business. We could have cut corners to get where we did, but we did not. Doing the things the right way we have, and with a top-notch owner. I have no problems at saying in 25 years, TallChief territory, home of Native Pride, will be celebrating its bicentennial. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. And now I would like to invite Nicole Seneca, founder of It Takes a Tribe and wife of C Seneca, to the podium.
Hey everyone. It's so good to see everybody here to share the 25th anniversary celebration of Native Pride. This space has evolved from modest beginnings into a true enterprise and landmark. It seems like yesterday that my 4 oldest children would beg to have breakfast here at the diner, opening one pull tab after another. They had to be 15 years ago, and wow, have things changed. Except for breakfast is still good. But there's no pull tabs. Progress in this type of business does not come without difficulty. Yet JC has pressed forward and overcome many obstacles to create what we see today. He makes it look easy, but blood, sweat, and tears is no joke, and I often tell him that I don't know how he does it. The responsibility is enormous, and he does not take shortcuts or accept mediocrity. The pandemic has changed the way we do everything. JC immediately took the lead on what had to be done here at Native Pride to continue to provide services in a safe way. Not one day of work was canceled. The store, fuel, food services remained open, and jobs have not been lost. I give a lot of credit to each member of the Native Pride family for all the hard and demanding work that they do. He has high expectations. You're only as good as your team, and I think this one is pretty impressive. Business success is a wonderful thing, but what really matters at the end of the day is what you do with it. JC has a great love for our community, especially his elders, the people who have blazed the trail for each of us, and helped shape him into the extraordinary man he is today. I know Brandon touched on it, but I have to brag a little for him. Jay would probably not tell you this, but over 5,000 free meals of their choice have been delivered daily to our senior populations in the last 4 months as of today. If that's not an act of love, I don't know what is. I think you'll agree that it's in times of crisis that the true leaders reveal themselves. I'm very proud of everything he's accomplished. And I can't wait to see what this guy dreams up next. So here's my husband, C Seneca.
You guys making me cry.
Sorry.
But crying's a good thing. I used to be scared to cry, but over the last few years, it's okay. Oh, it's just awesome, what you guys have all said. I really appreciate it, and thank you for being here today and saying those words. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to all of us here at Native Pride, this team that we have, and I have to agree that the team that we have together today, over the years, I believe this is the best group of people that we have here right now operating. And we have some long-term people that have been with me for many, many years, some over 20 years. And I thank them for their service here at Native Pride, their dedication, and everything that they've done for us here at Native Pride. And just to mention a couple, I'm probably going to miss somebody, but Chrissy Bartu, she's here. She's over 20 years here with me at Native Pride. Can we give her a round of applause? Of course, Brandon LeBeau, it's birthday? Happy birthday. Chrissy's birthday. Brandon LeBeau, he's been here for just as long, just about, I think, correct? Somewhere around there. Yeah. And Brandon started out and he was driving truck, rolling down the highway, picking up fuel, bringing it back here. And as time passed and things changed, he moved his way up and now is our Chief Operating Officer here at Native Pride. He's responsible for our stores, and everything that goes on here. And so he's done a great job. He stepped in and took charge, and certainly is a valued asset here at Native Pride. So I appreciate Brandon and all that you do. Thank you. But as my wife said, I'm very demanding, and so I try not to be too demanding, but certainly I appreciate the hard work that everybody does. And of course,
Erica Seneca. Erica has been here for several years with me. When she came on board as an intern when she was at college, I believe. Isn't that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, and she came on here and worked internship as part of her marketing degree that she was studying at UB, and worked with my staff at the Armor Inn when I owned that out in Hamburg. And then as I sold that, she came here to work with us at Native Pride, and has done a fabulous job in everything that she does. And you know, by large part, everything that you're seeing, she's had a part of doing. Whether it's the tanker that's out there, that's our new logos and everything on it, it's the signage, the things that you hear on the radio, TV commercials. She's had her hand in just about everything that we do. So I appreciate, Erica, all that you do. And let's give Erica a round of applause. And also, where would you be without a numbers person? Somebody who's who analyzes and takes all the numbers in and reports to me things whether I want to hear it or not. And you know, good and bad, but that's what business is all about. You have to know where you are, where you stand on a day-to-day basis, to make sure that you're doing the right things, making correct decisions. Because in business, we have over 100 employees here at Native Pride, and the way I look at it, that's 100 families that we're working for. And so we have to be able to make sure that we do the right thing, and you know, we're responsible for that. And so Dave Sparrow, my CFO, has done a tremendous job in his short time here of about 4 years, but I couldn't expect more from him. He stepped forward beyond what a regular CFO would probably do at another business, and he's taken responsibility and charge forward, and has done just a great job. So Dave, thank you for what you do. And I guess, you know, certainly as we build our team and we put things together, my cousin, my good friend, Dean Seneca, appeared back in our area here in Western New York after his tremendous work that he's done throughout the country, throughout Indian country, with almost 20 years in the CDC down in Atlanta, his work up in Wisconsin with the Indian nations there, and certainly not to miss his stints here at the Seneca Nation back when I was treasurer back in 1998 to 2000. Dean was working here at the Seneca Nation before he ventured out, and then also now coming back and you know, also helping the Seneca Nation here as much as he can and as much as they want here, and what the things that they're doing today. And so Dean and I connected, and we talked a little bit, and I thought, you know, it's something that Dean was able to come in and help us with. And Dean, thank you so much for being a part of our team, and thanks for coming and doing what you do. Dean is just has a great intellect, has great vision, is very professional, and is a person that can get things done. And not to let the cat out of the bag, I put Dean on a project just a few weeks ago because we were looking at trying to get National Fuel to run a line to connect us with natural gas. And the opportunity came where National Fuel had a grant available for us, and we had short time to do it, maybe 3 or 4 weeks almost, crunch time to get this thing together and to get it in and to possibly, hopefully, get some funding from National Fuel. And Dean jumped right on. I called him up as soon as I knew about it. He says, I'm on it. He gathered the information, read through what was needed for the grant, put it together, worked with National Fuel. We submitted it just about, what, 2 weeks ago? Yeah. And National Fuel awarded us over $91,000 because of Dean Seneca. And I want to thank you for doing that. And, you know, we do these things because we show what it takes to run a business. Normally, businesses like this aren't able to get grants. Usually it's government entities or things like that, communities that get it. But for a business to be able to apply and get a grant speaks volumes, not to just here at Native Pride, but throughout our business community here at Seneca Nation. It shows them that they have the ability to do things that maybe they think they can't do. And not only that, it expands beyond here into Indian country, into the communities and businesses throughout our many Native communities here in the United States. And so I think it sends a great message for that. And I hope that inspires some and inspires others here on our territory to do that. And so once again, Dean, very appreciative of your work. And I know that I only had 5 minutes. Thanks, Brandon. A little subtle reminder, because I haven't even gotten to my remarks that I wrote, but maybe we won't get to that. But just recognizing some folks that have I can't do this all alone. I never could all along, and certainly in the beginning years, there were people that were here and helped. Maybe they're not here right now, but they were a part of what's Native Pride has been and how we started back on that July 1st in 1995. And I'm glad to welcome and thank my brother Kevin Seneca for being here today, and the work that he's done with me in those early days here in business and at Native Pride. So Kevin, thank you for being here, and thank you for the work that you've done. My sister Jill and my niece Jay Yvonne unfortunately couldn't be here today. They're at work. They work out at the casino, and so but I appreciate all that my sister has done, because she was a part of also a lot of things that I done in my early years at business, and so I thank her also. Some other folks I just want to thank. Certainly Paul Brennan is here. Paulie came on just about 20 years ago. Well, we needed a light fixed or something, and so the manager I had at the time called Paulie, but I've known Paulie and his family for a number of years through high school, and I was good friends with his younger brother in high school, and cousins and things like that. Here, John has been with us for a number of years, and he works with our CBD and is our master pyrotechnic when we have all our fireworks displays. Let's see, Richard Rice, our factory manager out at Six Nations Manufacturing. He's here. Thank you, Richard. And then recognizing family. Thinking about this event, and it kind of came on us quickly as July 17th was coming, and trying to get the word out to our family. And so all of our family that are here, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Esther and Denise and Jacob, of course my brother, everybody that's out here, Sonia and Jean, standing over here. How you guys doing? And Dean and Joyce. And so, I think, it reminds me of the old days when I was younger, and we were much younger, where our grandmother, Nina TallChief Seneca, would always have those family reunions, and we would all gather. And a lot of times we were down at the beach, and everybody would gather, we would picnic, and we would visit, and we would catch up with each other, people that maybe we haven't seen for a long time. I remember the folks from Rochester, our relatives coming out, everybody who from the area, we all would come together and meet as a family. And we don't do that anymore. And so, hopefully maybe now, maybe this starts something in our future. That maybe it takes a year in planning, and maybe we plan next year to have that family reunion where we can all come together. I'd like to do that. What do you think? You can do that? All right, let's work on that this year and make that a goal. That next July we have a picnic of our family, and we get together. And so, I just want to mention one other person, Gregory Jimerson is here. Gregory has been with me for many, many years, even though he moved on to help his mother and work on the business out in Allegheny. Gregory is my brother. I love you, Gregory. Thanks for all that you've done for me over the years. Thanks for being there and all that you do. And your boys, Jeremy and Randy, they continue to work here for me, and they do everything and anything I ask them to, and I appreciate that. So. Okay, now we'll move forward. I want to thank my wonderful, beautiful, amazing wife, Nicole, for the amazing words that she said to me and making me cry. And our family, her mother Jean is here, my son Jacob, daughter Vera, and my daughter Olivia is here. And I just want to thank you all for everything and for being here and saying that. But you know, I never really usually write speeches. I'm more better at just kind of going like this. But then I end up talking for. We'll be here at 5 o'clock. But I'm gonna go off the script and ad lib here. Unity Day, briefly. Unity Day happened back in July of 1992, and the events that were going on back there. And many of you maybe, you know, now just growing up, not knowing about the events that happened some 28 years ago, but it was all around what happened as New York State was pushing an effort in regards to violate our treaties and trying to impose their regulations of taxation upon us. And of course, we were standing up against that and fighting in regards to our rights, our sovereignty. We were fighting for our way of life, our ability to create an economy. And of course, we weren't going to stand by and allow New York to come in and try to impose their regulations on us. So unfortunately, dialogue wasn't working, and unfortunately, we had to take measures into our own hands, which probably wasn't a wise thing, but it was something that we had to do. And so we had several protests, tried to raise attention and try to communicate our position out there with rallies in Buffalo, rallies here on the territory, which unfortunately then led to us moving on to the New York State Thruway and stopping traffic on that, which in the end did get the attention finally of New York State and of local and national media. And you know, those were some treacherous and scary times because we didn't know what to expect. Certainly public safety was an issue for all of us, for our people, for the outside community, for certainly the travelers on the New York State Thruway. But however, those things kind of were preempted by our need to be heard and to try to solve this issue before it escalated any further. But of course, those situations caused New York's Governor Mario Cuomo at the time and the Taxation Department to initiate and to move New York State troopers into our territory, which basically surrounded us and invaded and occupied our territory for a number of days. And then, if some of you may recall, it was a council meeting on this day, 28 years ago, July 17th in Allegheny, that was called. And our council met. We had to have the meeting in the bingo hall because so many people wanted to be there, and so everybody came. And you know, people wanted answers. Our people wanted answers. They said, what are we going to do? What's the council going to do? Council was hard pressed on what to do. And I was a counselor at the time, and I was just a young guy, about 31 years old, sitting with a lot of counselors that were elder to me. And certainly we were guided by our president, Calvin Kelly John, at the time. And so we sat around and we debated what we were going to do, and we had some communication, and I was sitting talking with a fellow counselor, and the counselor next to that person, his name was Jojo Redeye. And Jojo heard me talking and about what I was thinking about wanting to do, and Jojo called me over. He says, come over, let's go over here and have a sidebar. And so we went over with a few counselors, and we talked about it, and I told him what my plan was, and it was kind of radical and pretty aggressive for me. You know, I was a young guy, kind of an activist at the time, and what we did, I told him what we were going to do, and he says, write it up, and let's bring it on the floor, and let's see if we can get it passed. And I said, okay, so we went in the bathroom, I wrote it up real quick, and we looked at it, debated it, changed a few things, and we voted on it, and the council passed it back then in 1992 in that council meeting. And what it was pretty radical, that we gave the New York State an ultimatum that they had to leave our territory by 6 o'clock that Friday, which was July 19th. And if they didn't, they would face certain consequences if they didn't. And so, again, back in that time, I was the lead negotiator. I was negotiating with the New York State Police major that was in charge of the state police. And so, along with my brother, Kevin, we were negotiating and trying to get New York State to withdraw from our territory before it got any worse. And we were able to accomplish that. At 6 p.m., just before that, on Friday, July 19th, I walked with the major onto the bridge over 438 as he gave the command on his communication device to the troopers on the thruway to vacate the thruway. It was an amazing moment. It was a great relief. And certainly, you know, it was a proud moment for us because we were able to stand together as a nation and as the Haudenosaunee to be able to stand up against this intrusion by the state government. And so out of that came this Unity Day, which we recognize today, on this day every year since then, since July of 1992. And so that's what that's about, and just wanted to give you that little bit of history in regards to that. And I think over the years, and certainly as in a position when I was been on tribal council before, through the years since then, I've always tried to advocate working with our governments. And we've gotten great response from the legislature and some of the governors since then in regards to listening to us, to be able to communicate and debate issues, even if we don't agree all the time, that we're able to join together and work together for the betterment of all of our people. And you know, and that's what I hope for the future. I hope that, you know, down the road, we're always going to have issues with New York, but I think we have to find ways to be at the table, ways to communicate, ways to listen to each other, so that we can protect and honor the interests of our people, the people of New York, and the people of the Seneca Nation. And so, and with these gentlemen that sit here that are in government, you know, I know that they're of a good mind, and they recognize the importance of Native issues and the things that are important to us. And I look to them to lead this fight in the legislature, and I know they have. And certainly I know as the chairman of the subcommittee on Native American Affairs, Senator Kennedy is certainly a great friend and champion to protect the rights of Native people here in New York. And so let's give them a great round of applause. I'm going to read this since I wrote this. But well, writing a speech is kind of a difficult thing for me. I certainly have been blessed by the Creator to be able to just stand up and speak from my heart. I think that's an important thing. to be able to say what's in your heart and say what you feel. And I've just been blessed by that, and so I'm thankful for that and grateful for that. I guess one more important thing before I start reading is the importance in my life of me to be able to be standing here today. You know, there was a time where I might not be standing here, where my life may have ended. And this past July 5th, I celebrated my 6 years of sobriety and recovery. Thank you. You know, looking back, and of course, it's a part of the history here of Native Pride, how my life before 6 years ago was filled with alcohol and marijuana and living my life in a way and acting in a way that was not right and it was not good. And there comes a day for every alcoholic or addict where it's decision time. What do you do? Do you continue your life of lying? Do you continue a life of abusing a substance or abusing a way of life? Or do you take responsibility and do the hard thing and change? That's what I did. It was hard to do, I tell you that. And so July 5th in 2014, I checked myself into a rehabilitation center, and it was located in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Never even heard of Hattiesburg, Mississippi before, but I checked many places out, but for some reason I was drawn to this place to go to. And communicating with the folks on the phone, they said, come on, we have an opening for you on this date. Well, you know, I really can't go on that date. You know, I'm doing something there, and of course, as a true addict or alcoholic, whatever you want to call it, I'll just say addict because it encompasses all. We make excuses. We justify in our own mind things that we don't want to do it. And to face the fact that we're going to have to live a life forever with no alcohol or any drugs or anything. That's a hard thing to do. But I took that step. You know what? That was probably the best step, the best decision, of course, besides proposing to my wife, that I ever did in my life. And so, thank you. So I went, I checked in, I went through the program, I spent almost 80 days there. And they gave me a foundation of, the way I look at it, of balance. And it kind of leads to where we're at today in the TallChief territory and what this symbol means that we have with the medicine wheel as a part of my TallChief logo. Because the medicine wheel I always had looked at, and I always known, you know, the medicine wheel stands for many things in our communities, our Native communities that utilize it throughout the country. Maybe not so much so here up in the northeastern area in our Native communities, although it is here in parts, but mostly throughout Native communities. And it's the symbol of the four directions and of four things. And the way I looked at it and the way I learned, because as I was in rehabilitation there, I got a book that used Native perspective in regards to recovery from addiction. And it was from a company in Colorado called White Bison. And they used the medicine wheel in their teachings in regards to people in recovery. And it talks about living your life in balance. Living your life in balance mentally, physically, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. And if you can do those 4 things on a daily basis and live your life in balance, you have a great chance of beating anything you can face in life, even if it's nothing to do with addiction or anything. Just living your life that way is a great way to live. And so I studied that and I learned that, and I started following that. And of course I had medicine wheel hats. And not to make a long story longer, my time there was a path that I walked around when we were able to go outside, because the rehab I was in was confined. And so I was able to walk around, and the first time I walked around this path, there was a sign, and it said, "Sacred ground, do not enter or remove anything from this area." But the sign was there, and there was nothing behind it. It was just woods. And so in my mind, especially being a Native person, sacred ground is something of importance that we should recognize. That's important and to respect. And so as my days in rehab went, as I passed by this area, I would stop and pray to the Creator for strength and guidance and wisdom, the things I needed to get me through what I was going through. And I would do that on a daily basis until I left there. I asked people what it was, the sacred ground that the sign meant, and nobody knew. So I left not knowing. And so after the program, I become an alumni, so I'm able to go back to this program, and that's what I do. I go back every quarter, and I meet with the people that are in the program, help them, and sometimes they ask me to be a speaker, and so I go and I speak to the people there. And so it's a great thing, and so I continue to go back there. And so it was about June of 17 when I was there, and a gentleman from Arizona was there, and I was wearing a medicine wheel hat. And we get into a conversation, and he talks about the medicine wheel. He works with Native communities in Arizona. So in the end, we have a spiritual send-off, do a meditation, and you share your meditation with the group. My meditation was about this sacred ground that I was exposed to. We go back, I show them what it was. One of the people at Pine Grove said, "I'll find out what this is." He calls me, he sends me an email a few days later. What it was, in this wooded area and just a sign, and they weren't sure of the time period, but he said around over 20 years ago, a Native person put a medicine wheel in these woods, and nobody took care of it. It grew up and became hidden by the woods. And so I said I wanted to be involved with it. I wanted to go back and find out how to, if I could, find this medicine wheel and bring it back, and so people could see it and use the teachings of the medicine wheel in their recovery. And so I went and I found it. Of course, I had to get instructions on what to do, because if there's a medicine wheel, it's protected by spirits. And so you have to get permission and let them know what you're going to do there. So in the end, I go there and I find this medicine wheel. I cut all the underbrush down around it, expose it, and we bring it back. We restore it to its original condition, even better, because we build a foundation and all the original stones of that medicine wheel, and we found out that it was built back around 1990. So when I found it, it was some 27 years since, and it is neglected. Nobody took care of it. But it was such a strong spiritual experience for me, being there on that hot day in September in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, on my hands and knees, digging and pulling roots and exposing this medicine wheel. It was just an amazing thing that it's hard to describe. And it's just was an amazing thing. And so I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the Creator putting me on this journey my destiny to go to that place, to find that, to learn, to have a foundation in recovery, so that now I'm able to come back and share it with my people and with others that I come in contact with. And so it's a major thing. And right now the medicine wheel is there, and the people that go through that program down there are learning from that and learning how to use the teachings of the medicine wheel. And so just a short story for that. I must be on about minute 4 right now, so I'll close with this writing. Take notice of the hat I'm wearing. Greetings. I hope you and your families are doing well, and welcome to Native Pride. Thank you for being here today as we celebrate our 25th anniversary of Native Pride. You know, many people over the years have asked me why you named your business Native Pride. The term Native Pride is something that is used throughout Native communities here in the Western Hemisphere. It speaks to how proud they are to be Native and what that means to them. So when I was starting this business back in July of 1995, the Seneca Nation government and our community were recovering from a period of time our nation was in conflict. Buildings were occupied, services for our people were interrupted, families were divided, and a power struggle ensued. This was occurring in March of 1995, and unfortunately cost 3 people their lives. As the weeks and months passed, there was still a lot of unrest. In July of 1995, I needed to come up with a name for my new business. But what? One morning as I left home to go to the shop, I grabbed one of my hats to wear, and the one I grabbed was the one I had gotten in Florida when I was visiting the Seminole Nation. It's the hat I'm wearing today. It was a hat that read Native Pride. I thought to myself, that would be a great name for my business. I believe that because of what we had been going through here in our community. And I thought if I named my business something positive and showed our people to be proud of who they were, to get along with each other, and to stop fighting, we could overcome and get through this difficult time together. So I named my business Native Pride. I'm so proud that I did, because it set a foundation and a reminder to me every day of what I'm supposed to do. Be proud of who I am, remember where I come from, and to help my people. I have been very fortunate to be able to experience the ups and downs of owning my own business. In business, you will have success, and you will have failures. It's what you do with those experiences that will define you and your business. I'm very thankful and grateful for what I've been able to accomplish here at Native Pride over the last 25 years. Here's a brief overview of some of the things of the past 25 years. I started out on July 1st, 1995 in a small construction trailer, started selling cigarettes. And as of note, my uncle Sterling Jimerson was my first employee. He had just come back from Louisiana, or Binghamton, New York. And he says, "You got anything for me to do?" And I said, "Yeah, you sell cigarettes?" Never have, but he was willing to do it. But so that was a fun time though. And I think the first day of sales that we had then was about $10. But it seemed that every day after it got increasingly more. By Labor Day weekend in 1995, we were pumping gas and business was taking off. And of course, down the road, I would need to get a bigger trailer. In 1997, the end of the building here, we built a 30 by 60 structure. And at the time, I thought that would be all I needed. From there, we created my own brand of cigarettes, and we called them Buffalo cigarettes. And of course, I didn't have a manufacturing facility, so what do you do? I had them produced in Peru, South America. And so we made cigarettes in Peru. And they put them on a ship. In bond, came here to the port. I believe it was in the port of Miami. And I established a customs bonded warehouse where it enables me to receive product from anywhere in the country or in the world and bring it into the United States. So I moved my cigarettes from Peru right here onto our sovereign territory of the Seneca Nation and held them in bond until I released them into the United States. And that worked for a few years until around 2005, and the factory in Peru sold and canceled everyone's production contracts. I needed to find an alternative until I could get my own factory together. I went to see my good friend Joe Anderson in Tuscarora. Smokin' Joe, you may know him. And he helped me. He said, "I'll make your cigarettes for you." I said, "That's great. Thank you so much." And he did. And I was able to continue to build my brand of Buffalo cigarettes. I established my own factory in 2009, and that's known as Six Nations Manufacturing. And today we have a total of 5 brands: Buffalo, Tribal Pride, Senate, Gator, and our newest brand, TallChief. Around the same time I started my Buffalo cigarettes, I started my own trucking company so we could haul our own fuel, putting my destiny in my own control of manufacturing cigarettes and hauling our own fuel. And we go to Pennsylvania and Ohio, and that's dependent upon who has the best price today. So in 2002 and 2003, retail-wise, we expanded selling diesel fuel, and our trucking business started to grow and get busy. And of course, they needed a place to eat, so we got into the diner business. We opened the Native Pride Diner at first. Of course, I really didn't have a desire to get into the food business, so I leased it out, and they ran it for a little while. A gentleman from Derby, New York, called Vinny Kayla, his name. He still has a restaurant there, Kayla's Kitchen. Came and got started here at Native Pride, and eventually around 2006, I took over the business, and we've been operating the diner since. So over the years, we've made many improvements, and that continues today, as many have talked about. And so we always are striving to improve what we do and to give our customers the best experience. And those are just some of the accomplishments over the 25 years. There's a lot more that I could mention and bring up, but certainly I only have 5 minutes. So I'd like to mention, although a welcome addition to the Native Pride family over the last couple of years, and that's Azalea's Juicery. I don't know if she's still sitting out here or not. Stand up, Azalea. Azalea Garlow has some amazingly healthy creations that help people stay healthy and feel better on a daily basis. And if you drink them, hey, I drink them, look at me. You could be like me. But I suggest, while you're here, check it out. She's just inside the door here at Native Pride, and you won't regret it. I tell you that. And so today, we are dedicating the land that we are on. And this land has been in my family for generations. As a young boy, I would walk and play in the woods that once were here. This was my grandma Nina's land. Nina TallChief Seneca. She received the land from her father, Charles TallChief. My gram left the land to my father, William Seneca, and when he passed, he left it to my mother, June Seneca, who then passed it on to me. And so that's an important thing, the TallChief legacy and the TallChief family. In doing research that I've done over the past several months, that the family TallChief is very large, and many of you are here today, and I appreciate you being here. And it's an important thing that you are here, and it's important that to me that I recognize you and that I recognize our ancestors of our family and their legacy, because without them we wouldn't have what we have today. We wouldn't be able to do the things and live the life that we have today. And certainly here, I wouldn't be able to do what I've been able to do here on this property at Native Pride. So this land, beyond Charles TallChief, who was my grandmother's mother, goes further back. And his father was Asa TallChief. And it goes back further to a gentleman whose name was simply, they called him TallChief. And back in the late 1700s, they called him a counselor for the Seneca Nation. And TallChief was someone who would go into maybe some similar roles that many of us who have been in government have, where we travel and we meet with state dignitaries, state elected officials, people in Congress, even the President of the United States. And so in the history books at the Buffalo Historical Society, there's a excerpt from a book about a day in time in 1792, where a gentleman named Horatio Jones, who was an Englishman, a go-between the new United States government and the native people in the eastern area where we are. This gentleman, Mr. Horatio Jones, was able to speak in the native dialect with many different tribes. And so he was the guy that they would look to set meetings up and to communicate with the native people in this region. And so at this meeting in 1792, Horatio Jones escorted the TallChief and a couple chiefs, one from Oneida and one from Mohawk, to Philadelphia. They went to Philadelphia, and what they did, they went and they sat and they had dinner with George Washington. And at this dinner, of course, they discussed. And at the end of the dinner, TallChief, I'm not sure, I'm still looking at this history, but he's the one who displayed the pipe. He must have been the pipe carrier and responsible for that. So TallChief pulls his pipe out, the peace pipe, and packs it, lights it, and takes a puff from this pipe. And it's kind of funny as I'm reading this and the way the verbiage is back when they're reciting this, what happened, and how they talk about it. So TallChief lights the pipe, takes a puff, and passes it to George Washington. And so George Washington takes it, but he can't get a puff off it. And he passes it to Horatio Jones, who then gets a puff off it, passes it back to Washington, and so then it says, then finally, Washington was able to get a puff off the pipe. And it was just the verbiage and how it goes about was pretty funny as I was reading it. But so the history and of our family, of this TallChief family, goes back, farther than we could even imagine, most likely. But from that point forward, and the folks that have, from our family who have succeeded in holding public office within government, who have been able to hold position of, to fill that role, to represent our people and be protectors of our nation and of our people. Many come from this TallChief family, from that TallChief in 1792 to our current family. And so, I've been fortunate to be on the tribal council and the treasurer. My brother has been on the tribal council and treasurer. Of course, my mother was the clerk of the nation. My father was the treasurer, president, treasurer in consecutive terms from 1966 to 1970. And then he went on to a position at the Department of Interior as a New York State liaison officer, establishing an office first in Buffalo and then in Syracuse, New York. To his brother, Martin Seneca Sr. as president of the Seneca Nation. So our lineage and family has had a major role in what goes on, and others have, another one comes to my mind, Dan Williams, as a peacemaker, judge for the Seneca Nation. And if I'm missing somebody, I apologize, but those are some of them. Martin Seneca Jr. was legal counsel of the Seneca Nation for a number of years. And so we've all had our role. Dean Seneca certainly played a major role in a lot of things that happen here at the Seneca Nation. So we're thankful, and I know we appreciate the opportunity to serve our people. So back to the TallChief territory, I had an idea. It came to me, Brandon and I were walking the property one day, talking about what we were going on out here, and an idea came to me. I said to him, what do you think if we call this TallChief territory? I'm sure Brandon remembers. And he thought about it for a second and said, yeah, that sounds good. And some time passed by, and winter was here, and so we had a meeting and discussed this with Erica Seneca, our marketing person, and Dave Sparrow, CFO, and they liked the idea. And maybe they weren't as sure of where I was going with it, but I think they know today that from that time forward, what this is all about. And even sitting there, I wasn't sure. But it was something that was growing inside of me, and it was getting more important to me the more I thought about it and discussed it. Because I believe this was supposed to happen. That little voice inside of me sent me a message, and I listened. I had been given an opportunity to utilize this land to start a business. Land that my family for generations, that was in my family for generations. And it was time to recognize that. It was time to honor their legacy as I move forward into the future. So from now on, this land will be known as TallChief territory, the home of Native Pride. And the name TallChief will become a part of all that we do as we continue to build the TallChief territory and Native Pride brand. And so also today, the Native Pride Diner that has been known for many years here, since around 2003, will today be known forevermore as the TallChief Diner. So the TallChief Diner again, recognition, dedication to the TallChief family. So we are in the process right now of finding old photos of my TallChief family. And if anybody out there has photos, Dean Seneca has been very helpful in getting some of those photos. Denise has been very helpful in regards to helping get photos. Thank you for that. And Dean, thank you for helping coordinate that. Erica, our family members. If anybody out there has some old photos, if it's possible for us to be able to get those and make copies of them, because what the plan is here in TallChief Diner, and we have a couple of examples up right now inside that you're going to be able to see, is old photos from our family that we've been able to make murals out of. They make them, they enlarge them. We found this company, Erica mentioned him earlier, here. He's the one that did the work on the tanker and the ones on the photos inside. To be able to take those photos and enlarge them, and we're going to put them on the walls within the diner, and have little plaques there mentioning who they were, and hopefully get time frames and a little information on what it is. And so that's what our plan is, what we're going to do here in the TallChief Diner. And so I'm very happy about that. I'm very proud about that. And I'm very proud to be able to stand here today before you, my family, our guests, to be able to announce this, and on this special day, in this special time. And again, I wish everybody well, stay healthy, watch out for each other, help each other, pass this spirit of helping, because in our day in life, the days in our life in today's world, we need each other. We need to reach out and help each other. And so if there's an opportunity or a possibility where you can help somebody, and don't wait for them to ask, because a lot of times people aren't going to ask for help. Offer a helping hand or a helping conversation or a visit. Visit somebody maybe that you haven't visited in a long time. Stop by and say, hello, how you doing? Can I do anything for you? What's been going on? It's important that we have that connection. And that's what today is all about. Connection, helping, family. We have family that are relatives, and we have family who are people that we know, friends. And so the way I look at it, we're all family. So thank you, family, for being here. And thank the Creator for this beautiful day. As yesterday the Creator brought storms and rain that cleansed this earth for us today to be able to celebrate TallChief, his legacy, and his family up to now. And so again, I say thank you. And I hope, and I know we will, find a day next summer to bring this family back together and celebrate in a family reunion that's far too long gone by since we've done that. So thank you again, everybody, for being here. Thanks for listening. And the Creator bless everybody.